Welcome. This is David Boles, Human Meme. Today's topic, how to take a righteous photograph. Did you notice in the title of this podcast that I said take and not create a photograph? All our photographs are made or broken in the split second between your eye and your finger touching the screen, and the frozen image saved to your iPhone, in the taking of the photograph. Yes, today we are talking digital photography, and how to take a righteous image. Traditional film is a whole other beast for another podcast. And how most photographs being taken and shared today are on mobile phones. And that will be our topic. Now, I said take because we are going to examine the foundations of natural photography. What you see is what you shoot. And we're not going to rely on end fixes like editing and filters and other software enhancements that interfere with the first memory effect. I am bringing up this topic again in this Human Meme podcast because so many people on social media post absolutely atrocious and ugly images. Because they're either in a hurry or they don't know any better. When all it takes for them to take a fantastic photograph is just an extra second or two. Then they will have taken the everlasting and purposeful photograph. You may be familiar with the rule of thirds when it comes to framing your photographic subject on your phone. The general idea behind the rule of thirds is you break your image into 9 equal squares on the screen, made up of 3 vertical and horizontal boxes. And the subject of your photograph, the person you're taking a photograph of, is centered in the center box. Sort of like the Brady Bunch opening to the television show. You want your subject to be in the Alice position, center square. Or perhaps think back on the Celebrity Squares TV game show, with the focus of your image in the Paul Lynde and Whoopi Goldberg position. Center square, tic-tac-toe. Some imaging camera software can even put that 9-square grid right on your phone's screen to help you center and focus your image in preview. And I say, forget it. There's nothing wrong with having an askew image with, say, your image subject in the Brady Bunch Bobby position in the lower right corner. Or even the sad-faced Jan Brady Bunch position, left side center. I argue a jangled image catches the eye and challenges the mind's want for geometry and perpendicularity. All photographs, and even digital images, require a lot of light, a light source. You must first know, even before locating where the virtual shutter button is on your mobile phone, where the light source you are using is located. The sun in the sky is the most natural light source. And if you are outside, you, as the photographer, are in charge. And you are required to put the sun at your back. So the sun is glowing and shining on your back, and then the subject, the person before you. The most important thing you can do as a photographer is to get the light right on your subject. Now, if you are in a canyon or a big concrete canyon of a city and you cannot control your relationship to the angle of the sun, perhaps because the shot you need is one with the sun in front of you, that's okay. Just beware of lens flare. Now, lens flare is ugly and it's awful, and think of J.J. Abrams and his Star Trek movies, where he's panning the camera and a light source blinds you as the audience member as the light flares through the camera lens. Lens flare ruins an image if you are not trying to get the lens flare as part of your photograph. Just move the angle of your camera a bit to avoid the sun in your lens. If the sun is in your eye, then the sun is in your lens. It's easy to see and fix if you are aware enough to look for it. If your sun source is in front of you, you will need to get some sort of artificial light you can use to reveal your subject. You may choose to have the camera's flash engaged. That's a possibility, although the end result is often a harsh, washed-out sort of look. You can also try to lighten the image after you're done with editing tools to adjust brightness and contrast. And while that may work, again, the results can usually look artificial and flat. If you are on scene and the sun is in front of you, think of a reflector, a mirror, a piece of foil, a big piece of foil, or a large sheet of white paper, and put that in front of you, and those reflectors would bounce the sunlight in front of you back onto the subject also in front of you. Knowing how to bounce is an effective talent to have in your photography toolbox. Bouncing light sources from one direction into another, priceless. Now let's talk a bit about background. If you are taking a wild picture in a city, the background is the city. You go with it. But if you are taking a more formal posed photograph, always consider and look out for what is behind your subject. All too often you see images where the photographer just said, "Hey, stand over there," and the image is snapped, taken. Other people may even be in that shot. Blurry, maybe not. And that lack of caring, that lack of aesthetic and discretion in composition, wounds that image for all of eternity. And there's no such thing as a throwaway photograph. You are taking a photograph with intention, and that intention is beauty and preservation. Now, ideally, you want a background that is not too close to your subject. Don't stand people against a brick wall, or the side of a house, or a bookshelf filled with books. Unless you want your subject to look like they're in a police lineup, and all of your observers' attention is directed into the ugly background. Just pull your subject away from the background, maybe 10 feet out or so from the wall, and then try a photograph. You want to try for a background that's maybe a little fuzzy and out of focus, if possible. And don't forget the natural world is a lovely background. Trees, water, grass, the sky, they are all natural, wonderful things that will make your people shine. It really is important to focus on the background of your subject as you are composing your image. And if it doesn't look right or feel right, then move to a new place. Don't be lazy. and just take a photograph for the sake of making a record. Make a right record. Make a righteous record that you will really want to share and preserve. When your image is complete, you may be tempted to apply a filter so you can play around with the look and feel of your image. And that's fine, but just don't use camera software that will not save the original copy of your image. You don't want your original image to have a filter implied. You must have a natural, non-filtered, originating image that you can save and then make a copy of, and then manipulate that copy of the original image in your filtering software. Now, the real magic of a filter is that it should not look like a filter. Wacky filters make for wacky reactions. And while wacky is fun the first time, wacky cannot be sustained. If you are operating a news website, or if you are reporting on something that happened in real time, please don't filter that image. Allow the naturalness of your original instinct to snap a shot. Win the day. It will be worth it in the end to preserve that vital truth. As well, I am reminded of a time not too long ago when the University of Nebraska-Lincoln would post photographs of the Husker football team on social media. Now, the official university colors are not red and white for Nebraska, as some suspect and conclude by the football uniforms. But the real colors of the university and the team are scarlet and cream. And if you look closely at the football uniforms, or any official school uniform for music or athletics, you can see the white is actually off-white, creamy. And the red has just a bit of blue in it, touching off everything in the direction of being scarlet. And now let's get truly technical about the color scarlet. Webster's. Scarlet, a vivid red that is yellower and slightly paler than apple red, yellower and lighter than carmine, yellower and duller than Castilian red, yellower and paler than madder crimson, and bluer, less strong, and slightly darker than pimento, called also French scarlet, Venetian scarlet. Okay, so knowing all that now, the Nebraska Athletic Department was posting photographs of their Husker football team online with, get this, a purple filter. So all the scarlet and cream uniforms looked blue and purple. Sort of like an immoral mix of the New York Giants football team blue-gray uniforms flooded with Northwestern University purple. Not only were those Husker images ugly, they were entirely inaccurate and false. Why would the University of Lincoln do that? Because someone thought they were being artful, when their job was to really be historic. I then commented on social media that I thought it was anti-social media of Nebraska to put official images online that were not true to fact, and that their images actually wholly distorted the sacred identifying scarlet and cream colors of the university. Eventually, the Huskers went back to unfiltered images online to their utter betterment. But we, the suffering rest of us, had to re-edit all those blue and purple images for our safekeeping and memories, and we had to color correct via Photoshop to remove the purple filter of what never should have been messed with in the beginning. Photography should be fun and adventurous, but image taking is paramount and important. And if you have the attitude that everything you're doing matters, and that it counts for something beyond the moment of your twitchy finger inspiration, then you are hard into the truth of the moment. As are we, privileged to view the world through the beauty of your own righteous aesthetic. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.